I recognized my dreams in these images. So I already had dreamt versions of the Thoth deck. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a VR to Danny Mystic's hashtag my classics. I'm taking this tag in the direction of when you think of Anna Astral Lady Tarot, what deck comes to mind? Or maybe the other way around, when you have this and this deck right in front of you, maybe it reminds you of me. Now I think I'm pretty clear in my videos on what my main decks are. That was a hashtag that I did a while ago. It's just a quick way of explaining what my go-to decks are, really, and that I can mentally flip through. So I must admit, this video is probably more suited for people who are not familiar with the videos that I put out there and are new to my channel and just came in. So let me know if you are new to this online space so I can properly welcome you here. And let's start the tag. First of all, hi, my name is Anna. I am 34 years old. I am half Dutch and half French. I live in Amsterdam. I am a dance teacher and professional tarot reader. It is yet again 10 p.m. at night. Actually, no, it's already 10:30. I am dead tired, but I don't know. I just wanted to do this video now. Very smart, I know. Let me explain a little bit. If you're new here, I do face-to-face readings by appointment or in a shop or at events. But for the folks, not located anywhere near, I also have a Patreon that I'm very proud of, that I love posting videos on. And I'd say my tiers are generally considered affordable tiers. I give monthly reading to my Patreons and much more good and exclusive stuff, if you will. So I get into tarot, I get into magic. That's all I'm going to say for now, because I usually really don't promote myself all that much on YouTube. It's just that I just filmed an very exciting video in a new style in the after party tier, really opening up about something that is very meaningful to me. So that's why. But anyway, we are on YouTube now, another magical place, right? Let's start off with my favorite deck, my trademark, my evil twin, my deck. So, number one deck lives in this box. And it's the Triomphe della Luna Paradoxical. Look at that. This is the original one. It's by Patrick Valenza. It's an independently published deck. I love it to bits. I am so tired I can't say a lot about it. As you can see, it's a pip deck. It's a Marseille style deck. Not traditional, because Patrick added a lot of details, a lot of different things, has his own twists on many of the cards. But the reason that this is my deck is because, well, I really bonded with it, obviously. And earlier this year, I got to interview Patrick, the maker of this deck, on my channel. So you can check that out and many different videos about this deck and more to come. And also the Marseille system, to be honest, and how to read it and all of that. The reason this is my deck is because it reflects a part of me that I call the underworld. It's full of little demon friends, and I am one of them. And I am welcome in this realm. I'm welcomed by these little horned and winged and fanged and clawed, little demon friends. So it has that very strange and quite creepy, but still very friendly, as I keep saying, energy to it and quality to it. And it's really good with just world building. because thanks to this deck, I have an entire astral plane, you could say, that I can visit by using this deck or without this deck even. I actually even bought a black light to use with these cards because they glow under black light. One of these days I'm gonna have to show you and catch that on camera. But trust me, it's beautiful and it's great. Thanks to this artwork that I really connected with, I now see the value of non-scenic pip decks, because I started off with a Rider-Waite-Smith, like many of us, and I still love it to bits, by the way. I love Pamela Colman-Smith's artwork. But non-scenic pips really give that freedom. I'm not going to talk at length about it, but honestly, I fell in love with the Marseille system and different views and takes on the cards. So if you're interested in that, then, you know, feel free to, with any of these decks, because there aren't very many of them, type in the title of the deck in the search bar on my channel, and you will be presented with all of the thoughts I shared so far with you about these wonderful tarot decks. Okay, so the second deck, now look, this isn't in any particular order necessarily. That was a weird sentence. But second deck that I have to show you lives in this box that I also made. It's the Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith. Yes, I am that girl, and I really don't mind. I absolutely love this coloration. And the feel of this deck, it feels like an old version, yet very sturdy. And here I am talking about things that don't really matter. Okay, the reason I like the Rider-Waite-Smith is because it's my first deck. It was my first deck, not this actual copy, but it was my first system. And at the time, when people said tarot, I thought of these images, right? Because they're everywhere and they're still everywhere. And they, to me, stood the test of time because it's by Pamela Colman-Smith, obviously, and she did such a great job creating stories within the suits. Because in the Marseille system, the story is in abstract form. The story is in how many swords or wands or whatever you have, and what the flower is doing, whether it's wilting or growing, what the ferns are doing, and the leaves and all of that. And here we get scenes that we can actually project ourselves into, which is why it's a great deck for path working and understanding the cards. Because guess what? In order to learn tarot, you have to study the tarot. And it's not just about studying the meanings of a book that other people came up with. It's also about stepping through the borders of the card and finding that place and letting your intuition and imagination, to be honest, develop the story and develop that very important inner understanding of and story of what the cards are about. It's a staple. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to keep this deck forever, just like the Triomphe. What can I say? I remember at some point I even said that the Rider-Waite-Smith Centennial, especially the Centennial, because it's so gorgeous, was my soul deck. Now, honestly, I don't really know what a soul deck is necessarily, but I do know that it is a main deck because I can mentally flip through it, you know, just like the Triomphe and this other deck that I have here. But first, I have number 3 to show you, which is not a main deck, meaning I cannot actually mentally flip through it, still not, even after having worked with it for so long. It's just I'm taking a different approach with the next deck because it's definitely my classics. Definitely you see me, I think. You associate this deck with me, just like Triomphe. I'm not actually studying the deck. I'm just picking it up, flipping through it, reading with it, getting great messages, to be honest. It's just a different connection on a different level, I feel. It is the Crow's Magic Tarot. This is a box that I've made. Again, nothing wrong with the tuck boxes that they came in. It's just, I like sturdy boxes and something special. Now, this is the ugliest deck that I've ever seen, and I adore it. Crow's Magic Tarot by Londa Marks. Sorry to say, this one is out of print. It's a 90s deck. 90s apparently is vintage. But it's my weirdo, my misfit, basically my type. When I flip through this deck, sometimes I think, well, this is like a date. Dating the tarot was also a tag last year, or maybe the year before, I don't remember. In this date, I'm thinking, let's both wear leather jackets and go to a smelly bar, watch the sun come up. It's all types of wrong, which is why I absolutely needed to be friends with it. And yeah, we're very good friends. So this is ugly computer art, right? Who in their right minds would get this deck? Well, I was very lucky to have found this deck. But apparently I started a little bit of a trend on YouTube with, well, I'd say a handful of people who also make videos. I forgot the beginning of that sentence again. Anyway, what I meant to say is they now also own and enjoy this deck. So yeah, not quite sure what type of traditional system this is supposed to be. I feel a lot of and see a lot of connections with the Thoth deck, but also some cards are just very Rider-Waite-Smith and other cards have nothing to do with anything I've ever seen about that particular card. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful read. I like it, very intuitive, and I like it because it is so strange and so weird. Yeah, so that was my number 3. The 4th deck, which is my last deck, last but definitely not least, trust me, it is my Thoth, my darling. Ah, yes, specifically this version of the Thoth. This is a vintage greenie, as you can see. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, traditional system, but a pip deck, obviously very inspired by the Marseille. Like here we got 6 of Wands, arranged in the same formation as the 6 of Wands in the Marseille deck would be. But then we also get cards like, well, this one, for instance, which is, to be honest, my least favorite card in this deck, artwork-wise, but it's the 9 of Pentacles, or discs, or coins, right? And they are arranged in a different way. Now look, Lady Frida Harris is an incredible artist. She did such an amazing job. And this is the Aleister Crowley deck, Now, I am no Thelemite. I will never be that. But the difference between the Thoth and a Rider-Waite-Smith, because they're kind of like, for a while at least, they were opposites, I guess. Like people who liked the Rider-Waite-Smith despised the Thoth, thought it was too pretentious. It's definitely a little pretentious, and nothing wrong with a little pretentiousness. And people who were into Thoth or Thoth or Thoth or whatever hated on the Rider-Waite-Smith because it was just too damn simple, which honestly, it isn't. It's very layered. There are many secrets in there. Okay, let's all be open-minded. But the difference for me is I started dreaming about the Rider-Waite-Smith images after I started my studies of the tarot of the Rider-Waite-Smith. I had the opposite experience with the Thoth, because, for instance, this image, what can I say? I opened the Thoth deck and I didn't know these images already beforehand as much as I knew the Rider-Waite-Smith images, because those are everywhere and those were the tarot for me, you know? But upon opening this deck, I was very lucky. I got it, you know, with the cellophane on it and everything. This is a white box. I recognized my dreams in these images. So I already had dreamt versions of the Thoth deck. For instance, this priestess holding up this incredible net or veil, however you see it. And that was very special. I considered this deck a cosmic deck, just like my Crow's Magic Tarot. Absolutely wonderful for path working as well, even though it's much more pippish, but still it's like a pip with a scene, so pips with feelings, which was also a tag that I don't think I did, I'm not sure, but it was a great tag anyway. I love the layers of this deck. This is the tarot in itself, but you know, something to say about this deck specifically. It's a lifetime of study. You can study this forever, I'd say, and still find new things. And that again is true for every deck. I do have some other things to say to you, so don't click away yet. Those were my 4 decks that I had to show you in this tag, in the way that I've interpreted the tag, as I said. Now, I must admit, like I already kind of said, I enjoy exclusive decks, meaning special decks, right? I like vintage, but to be honest, I like most things vintage. And I like rare decks that nobody likes at first. It's a freaking velociraptor. It makes sense to me. So as I said, I like things that nobody likes. That's one of the reasons that I like thrifting. Now, a deck really doesn't have to be anything special right out of the box, right off the bat. A deck doesn't have to be independently published or out of print or cost a shitload of money to give you that feeling of exclusivity. Meaning, exclusivity truly means that the deck is for you and you get that feeling. It's yours. It's a deck that you understand. And if you don't immediately understand everything about it, the sign that the deck is for you is that you really want to get to know it and understand it. Now, I say these images are horrible and ugly, but I love it. Look, actually, it's beautiful, you know? So yeah, it's about finding that deck that you want to know and you want to understand and you want to have a relationship with. And more likely than not, then that is actually going to happen. Now, just to tell you, I learned the Marseille system on this very deck, on the Triomphe della Luna. I learned the Thoth system on this very deck, on this greenie. To be honest, I do tend to make that one overarching tarot system because I see the tarot as a whole and I don't really like to categorize, Thoth readings or Marseille interpretations or Rider-Waite-Smith meanings. None of that. To me, it's all part of it. It's all one, and I'm bringing together every nuance because there's just different knowledge and different secrets hidden in every traditional system or every crazy deck out there. But I'm just saying, why are these my classics? Because I believe you associate me with these decks. But then why do I think that? Because I can't, for the life of me, shut up about these decks. So yeah, it's definitely me doing this. I'm absolutely fine with that. These are my classics, and I'm not going to shut up about them. You're welcome. So yeah, new folks, feel free to browse through my many videos to find, honestly, countless videos on each of these decks and, well, many more tarot related stuff as well. because I really like to dive deep into reading the tarot in general. If you liked this video, I'm going to link another one in the screen that I think you'll enjoy as well. I want to say thanks for being here. I am now going to bed and I'll probably edit for at least another half hour, but this is what I like to do, and I'll see you in the next one.